Welcome to Wenger Arsenal Daily. Welcome back to Wenger Arsenal Daily. If you're here for the first time, a huge welcome to you. This is the home of honest, passionate, and informed Arsenal content. We cover everything that matters to Gooners. The transfers, the tactics, the big matches, the big debates, and every story that shapes what is happening at our beloved Arsenal Football Club. And if you're not already subscribed to the Wenger Arsenal Daily YouTube channel, please stop what you're doing right now and go and do that. We are one of the most trusted Arsenal channels on the internet. We do not chase rumors for clicks. We do not hype up stories that have no substance. We give you real analysis, real opinions, and real love for Arsenal. So go and hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of Gooners who trust Wenger Arsenal Daily to keep them properly informed. Now, let us talk about a name that is being mentioned more and more in connection with Arsenal this summer. And it is a name that should genuinely excite every single person reading this. Is Morgan Rogers the signing Arsenal fans have been waiting for? Let me start with a question. When you think about what Arsenal are missing, when you think about the position that has sometimes left the team looking slightly unbalanced, when you think about the kind of player who could come in and immediately make this squad more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more exciting to watch, what kind of player comes to your mind? Someone young, someone with real quality, someone who is already performing at a high level in the Premier League and is ready to take the next step. Someone who fits the Arsenal system and the Arsenal way of playing. Someone who has shown that they can create chances, carry the ball, and make things happen in moments when the game needs something special. If that is the player you are thinking of, then you need to hear what is being reported about Morgan Rogers and Arsenal this summer. Because according to what is coming out now, Arsenal have made Morgan Rogers one of their top transfer targets for the summer window. Mikel Arteta is eager to strengthen his attacking options. And crucially, Rogers himself is open to a move to North London. The Gunners are actively exploring a deal. This is not just a name thrown into a list of 50 possible signings. This is a player Arsenal have identified specifically, a player they want, and a player who wants to come. So today we're going to sit down and really dig into this story. Who is Morgan Rogers? Why does Arsenal want him? What would he bring to the squad? And could this be the signing that takes Arsenal to a whole new level next season? Let's get into it. Who is Morgan Rogers? First things first, if you're not completely familiar with Morgan Rogers and what he's been doing at Aston Villa, let's get you up to speed. Because understanding who he is as a player is essential before we can talk about what he would mean for Arsenal. Morgan Rogers is a young attacking midfielder and forward who plays for Aston Villa and England. He is the kind of player that modern football absolutely loves. He is dynamic. He is creative. He is comfortable with the ball in tight spaces, and he is a genuine threat when he gets into positions to affect the game. Rogers can play across the forward line. He is not limited to one specific position, which makes him incredibly valuable for a manager like Arteta, who wants versatility in his attacking players. He can play wide on the left. He can operate in a number 10 role behind the striker. He can come inside from wider areas and get into goal-scoring positions. His ability to travel with the ball and take players on is one of the things that makes him stand out. In a Premier League where defenders are bigger, stronger, and more organized than ever before, having a player who can beat someone in one-on-one situations and create something from nothing is genuinely rare. Rogers has shown that he can do exactly that at Aston Villa. He has had seasons where he has grown as a player, taken on more responsibility, and delivered in important moments. The England international recognition shows that the people at the very top of the game have noticed what he is doing. And now Arsenal have noticed too. Had you been watching Morgan Rogers closely this season? Or is this the first time you are really paying attention to him as an Arsenal target? Let us know in the comments. Why Arteta wants him. The tactical fit. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Because Arteta does not just sign players who are talented. He signs players who fit a very specific way of playing. Players who understand pressing. Players who can operate in tight spaces. Players who are intelligent enough to execute a detailed game plan and brave enough to demand the ball even when the game is difficult. Every Arsenal signing under Arteta has had those qualities. And Rogers fits that profile very well. Think about what Arsenal need in their attacking areas. They need players who can create from wide positions. They need players who can get in behind defenses when the space is there. They need players who can hold the ball up and bring others into the game. And they need players who can produce in the moments that matter. Rodgers could do all of those things. On the left side in particular, there has been a conversation in the Arsenal world about whether the team has a truly top-class attacking option in that area to complement what Bukayo Saka gives them on the right. Saka is world-class. He is consistent. He creates and scores goals regularly. He is one of the best wingers in European football. But on the left, Arsenal have sometimes looked for that same level of consistent attacking threat and not quite found it. Trossard has been very good, but the question of whether Arsenal needs someone who is more naturally a left-sided attacker and can produce at the absolute highest level consistently is one that keeps coming up. Rodgers could be exactly that player. Imagine Saka on the right, Rodgers on the left, Rice controlling things from deep, and a striker like Gyökeres through the middle. That is a genuinely frightening attacking unit. Defenders cannot shift completely to one side to deal with Saka anymore because Rodgers is just as dangerous on the other side. Space opens up through the middle. The striker benefits. The whole team benefits. The tactical argument for signing Rodgers is very strong. The England factor, why it matters more than people realize. Rodgers is not just a Premier League player. He is an England international, and that matters more than some people might initially think. When a player has earned international recognition, it tells you something important about where they sit in the broader picture of football quality. England are not short of attacking talent. There are a lot of good players competing for those spots. The fact that Rodgers has broken through into that environment and earned caps for his country shows that the coaches and selectors at the highest level see him as someone who belongs at that level. For Arsenal specifically, having more England players in the squad also connects to something important about the fan base and about the identity of the club. Arsenal have always had strong connections to English talent. Saka, of course, is one of England's best players. Having Rodgers alongside him would strengthen that connection even further. But beyond all the symbolic stuff, the real point is simple. If Rodgers is good enough for England, he is good enough to make a real difference at Arsenal. And if he can grow and develop in the Arsenal environment under Arteta, who has a track record of making good players better, then the ceiling on what Rodgers could become is genuinely very high. Does international status matter to you when Arsenal are considering a signing? Or do you just care about the quality and the fit with the team? Tell us what you think. The fact that Rodgers is open to the move, why this is huge. One of the most important details in this story is not just that Arsenal want Rodgers. It is that Rodgers is reportedly open to a move to North London. This matters enormously, because in modern football, no transfer happens without the player being willing. You can offer as much money as you want. You can put together the most impressive presentation about the project and the vision. But if the player does not want to come, the deal does not happen. The fact that Rodgers is open to this move tells you a few things. First, it tells you that Arsenal's reputation as a place to develop and grow as a player is strong enough to attract quality players away from other good clubs. Aston Villa are not a small club. They have European football. They have good players and a good manager. Rodgers is settled there, and yet the idea of moving to Arsenal is appealing to him. Second, it tells you that the project Arteta is building at Arsenal is exciting enough to make a young player in his prime years think about joining. When young talented players look at where they want to be in 3 or 4 years and what they want to achieve, Arsenal under Arteta is clearly one of the most attractive options in the Premier League and in European football. Third, and perhaps most importantly, it means that if Arsenal can agree a fee with Aston Villa, the deal can actually happen. There is no enormous obstacle on the player's side. The door is open. Arsenal just need to walk through it. That is a genuinely positive position to be in at this stage of the transfer window. What would Rodgers bring to Arsenal every single week? Let us get specific about what Rodgers would actually add to Arsenal on a game-by-game basis. Because this is what matters most for the fans who watch every match and care about what they see on the pitch week after week. Rodgers brings pace. Real pace. The kind of pace that makes defenders nervous because they know that if they get the angle wrong for even a second, Rodgers will be in behind them and the situation becomes very dangerous very quickly. Rodgers brings creativity. He can see passes that other players cannot see. He can find teammates in positions that should not be possible. In a team like Arsenal that builds from the back and values players who can combine in tight spaces, having someone who can unlock defenses with a clever pass or a quick combination is absolutely essential. Rodgers brings directness. He does not just pass it sideways and wait for something to happen. He attacks defenders. He drives at them. He is willing to take a chance and try something that might not come off because he knows that the moments when it does come off are the moments that change games. And Rodgers brings goals. He can score from wide positions cutting inside, from through the middle, from distance if the opportunity is there. He is not just a creator who only exists to set up others. He can finish. That combination of pace, creativity, directness, and goals from a wide attacking position is exactly what Arsenal need to become even more dangerous going forward. Picture it. The ball comes out to Rodgers on the left. He drives inside towards goal. The defender cannot catch him. He shoots. He scores. The crowd goes absolutely wild. We all want to see that at the Emirates next season. And this transfer could make it happen. The competition it would create in the squad. One thing that sometimes does not get enough attention in transfer discussions is the impact a new signing has on the players already at the club. Because competition for places is one of the most powerful tools a manager has to keep the overall level of the squad high. Right now in Arsenal's attacking areas, the competition is good, but it could be even stronger with Rodgers in the mix. If Rodgers comes in and is genuinely competing for a starting spot, it pushes the other attacking players to be better. Nobody can feel too comfortable. Nobody can feel like their place is guaranteed no matter what they do. That healthy pressure keeps players sharp. It keeps standards high, and it ultimately makes the whole squad better. Arteta has spoken many times about the importance of competition within the squad. He wants players fighting for places in the right way, not in a toxic or selfish way, but in a way where everyone pushes each other to be the best version of themselves. Rodgers coming in would add to that culture of competition in Arsenal's attacking areas. And that is a good thing for the team, even if it creates difficult decisions for the manager on selection. The Aston Villa dimension. Will they sell? Now let us be honest about one part of this story that could make the transfer complicated. Aston Villa will not want to lose Rodgers easily. He is a valued member of their squad. He has been important to them in their recent seasons. And if Arsenal come in with a bid that Villa consider too low, they will push back. They will make Arsenal work for the deal. This is normal in football transfers. Clubs do not simply hand over their best players without making the buying club pay properly for them. And Arsenal should expect that Villa will ask for a significant fee. But here's the thing. Arsenal have the financial resources to make this happen. The club has been very clear in recent transfer windows that when they identify a player they truly want, they are willing to pay the right price to get them. They did it with Rice. They did it with other signings that cost real money but were deemed worth it. If Rodgers is genuinely a top target for this summer, Arsenal will be prepared to meet Villa's valuation if it is reasonable. And if Rodgers himself is pushing for the move, it puts a little extra pressure on Villa to get the deal done rather than hold out too long and risk an unhappy player. The negotiations will happen. They might not be straightforward, but the ingredients are there for a deal to get done. Do you think Arsenal should go all in and pay whatever it takes to sign Rodgers this summer? Or should they stick to a sensible valuation and walk away if Villa asks for too much? This is a real debate worth having. Arteta and the pattern of smart signings. It is worth stepping back here and looking at the pattern of signings Arteta has made since he took over at Arsenal. Because understanding that pattern tells you a lot about why Rodgers makes sense as a target. Arteta has consistently looked for players who are young enough to have their best years ahead of them, but experienced enough to contribute right away. He looks for players who are technically excellent, but also have the physical qualities to handle the demands of his pressing system. He looks for players with good character, players who want to work, players who want to improve. And he's been right almost every time. When Arsenal signed Saka as a teenager coming through, nobody quite knew how good he would become. Arteta helped make him one of the best wingers in the world. When Arsenal signed Saliba and sent him on loan before bringing him back, the patience paid off spectacularly. When Arsenal signed Rice for a big fee, Many wondered if it was too much. He proved worth every penny. The track record is there. Arteta knows what he is doing in the transfer market. When Arteta identifies Rodgers as a top target, that is not an accident or a snap decision. It is the result of extensive analysis, watching, and planning. It is a considered judgment from a manager who has consistently shown good judgment in this area. That should give Arsenal fans real confidence about this potential signing. What would Rodgers mean for Arsenal's future? Let's think bigger for a moment. Beyond just next season, Rodgers is young. He has years of development still ahead of him. He is already at a very good level, but with the right environment, the right coaching, and the right teammates pushing him, he could become significantly better. Under Arteta, that kind of development happens. We have seen it with multiple players. They come to Arsenal and they get better. Not just slightly better, significantly better. The coaching is detailed. The training methods are advanced. The standards are high. And all of that pushes players to reach levels they might not have reached elsewhere. If Rodgers signs for Arsenal and develops the way that other Arteta signings have developed, Arsenal could have a genuinely elite wide attacker on the left side for the next 5 or 6 years. A player who grows with the team, who becomes a key figure in everything Arsenal achieve going forward. Think about what it means to have Saka and a developed Rodgers as your two wide players for the next half-decade. That is not just good. That is the foundation of a team that can dominate English football and compete seriously in Europe year after year. The Rodgers transfer is not just about next season. It is about building something sustainable, building a team that can keep winning. Final thoughts. The Morgan Rodgers story is one of the most exciting transfer developments around Arsenal this summer, and the key details make it even more exciting than a typical transfer rumor. Arsenal have specifically identified him as a top target. Not just mentioned in a long list, but genuinely one of the players they most want to sign. Arteta wants to strengthen his attacking options, and Rodgers fits everything the manager is looking for. And Rodgers himself is open to the move. Those three things together create a real possibility of this transfer happening. And if it does happen, Arsenal fans should be very excited about what it means for the squad going into next season. A young, dynamic, creative, direct attacker who can play wide or through the middle. An England international with his best years ahead of him. A player who fits the Arteta system and who has the ambition to be part of something special at Arsenal. That is the Morgan Rodgers opportunity. And Arsenal should absolutely go and make it happen. Thank you so much for following this post on Wenger Arsenal Daily. Every one of you who reads, shares, and joins the conversation is part of what makes this community so special. For the most honest and most trusted Arsenal content on the internet, please go and subscribe to the Wenger Arsenal Daily YouTube channel right now. We are there every week with everything you need to know as an Arsenal fan. Now leave a comment and tell us. Are you excited about Morgan Rodgers coming to Arsenal? What would he add to the squad in your opinion? And what do you think a fair price for him would be? Let us have that debate right here in the comments. We are Arsenal, and the future is looking very bright indeed. See you in the next one on Wenger Arsenal Daily.